Today I'll be talking about a very important topic. This is a topic that very few people asks the right questions and very few people are qualified to provide the right answer. By clicking on this video, I assume that you are a person who's very serious and who wants to do a startup. Well, I want to respect your wishes and I'll give you as much information as possible to answer a deep question that you may not have anyone to ask. The question is, should I start up? Here, I'm not trying to discourage you from starting up. I'm not trying to say startup is bad. I'm not trying to say my startups are all failures. I have started 5 companies and I'm a serial entrepreneur. This makes me qualified to tell you something that other people are not qualified. I have scars. Just like everything in life, dangerous things should come with a caution sign. We see caution signs on cars, on Disney rides, on baby strollers. There should be a big caution sign about startup. The caution sign should say, dream that you plan is much further than it appears. So let me give you what I think about the right answer to this question. First, let me give you some honest advice for a would-be entrepreneur. There are 5 pieces of advice points. Number 1, the world really does not welcome anything new or any good stuff. The world has already got enough. Number 2, although the French word for risk taker is entrepreneur, just taking risk is no reason that you will get lucky. Okay, the chance is probably even smaller than winning a lottery. Number 3, knowledge is not enough. It doesn't mean whether you have a bachelor's degree in engineering, MBA, professor's job somewhere. Your knowledge is only what it takes to build know-how. The knowledge is never the right point to start up something. Number 4 piece of advice is that your invention has a long way to go before it becomes a paying business. Anyone can invent something. Okay, anyone can draw up an invention on the back of a napkin, but to turn that into a paying business where customers not only pay you, but happily pay you and consistently happily pay you. Your idea has to go through a long path. It needs to become a product, it needs to go through a channel, and has to be liked by people. It's a long way. Number 5, trying to be a startup hero is not a good idea. Okay, for a person to try to start up just so that they have a dream of being a hero, it's like a kid trying to play basketball so that they can be like Mike. Well, Michael Jordan is rare. You don't become Michael Jordan. You don't become Steve Jobs. You don't become Thomas Edison. You don't become Tesla just because you want to be. Okay? I'll first go through 3 very important topics to address this very critical question of should you start up. This is an important question because many people who start up ended up regretting it. They go through a horrendous process only to know that the world is basically shut up against their face. Although this is not a bad idea, and I'm not saying it's bad, it is very important to know what you expect before you go into it. So the 3 important topics that I want to address is for you to think about as well. What is alternative to a startup? I'll tell you some of the hypes about startup. Oh, there's a lot of hypes about startups. And it's mostly made up by people who don't know anything about technology, who don't know anything about startups, who don't know anything about business. They spread a lot of rumors and hypes. Number 3 is the types of startup and their risks. So let me address the first question. What is alternative to startup? Okay. The alternative to a startup is obviously employment, is to take a regular job. Okay, so a regular career plan for a person at high school, for example, and you take a regular career, and you go through college and get a degree, okay, and then you become an intern in a company, you become a director in a company, and if you're lucky, you become a C-suite person, a CEO or CIO or CXO or whatever. So the startup is an alternative to this, okay? It's a branch in the road. You can start up when you are before college. You can start up right after college. You can start up right after you learn some technical skills from your company. You can start up after you become a director and quit your job. You can start up after you become a CEO and quit your job. Startup is an alternative to career ladder climbing. What I'm trying to tell you here is that most people only try to do startup because they don't know a proper way to plan their career. A career that's beautiful, that's nicely planned, is actually quite nice. All right, it's not a bad idea. So let me show you this career path in a better drawing, not my hand drawing. All right, and you start with an intern, and you may end up being a C-suite manager. Your life was hard at the beginning, but in the end, you enjoy a lot of freedom, a lot of money, and really not much work. There are three important milestones of age: 25 years, 35 years, and 65 years. For practical reasons, I actually do not recommend anyone to start up after they are over 25. You have to start early because there are so many mistakes that you have to make. And when you start later, you don't have enough time in your life to make all the mistakes. Startup is really about making mistakes. So let me use an analogy: the pros and cons of employment versus startup. Employment is like trying to work on somebody's ship. Okay, it's a beautiful ship, and you can end up being a captain. The nice thing about this is that it's safe, the income is stable, you get a paycheck every month. Doesn't matter whether there's a coronavirus outbreak or not. And the cons, the bad side, is that you have office politics. A lot of people don't like office politics. And they say, I want to be myself. Well, this is the picture when you are trying to build your own boat. Okay? The pro of a startup is that you become a boss right away. You can call your CEO or president or whatever you want. It's a dream coming true. But the bad side of that is that there's absolutely no security. Okay? Sometimes hope is poisonous. People always want to hope. People want to build new things. People want to pursue a dream. But I can tell you that hope sometimes is not answered. Let me explain to you why. Starting up involves building a new company and new business. Okay, you not only have to build a ship, you have to build the business of the ship. Let's say you build a ship. Well, you don't have this cargo ferrying business that you can take. Okay, so a startup involves building a business and the company. It's much harder than a regular person raising a kid and pay through the kid's college and have them leave home, maybe married and happily thereafter. It's very difficult. Okay, starting up a company is like giving birth, and much, much more. The second point I want to make is if you have not run a company before, okay, and have not built sales before, don't believe anyone would help you. Okay, so even if you go through this career path, and you become a C-suite manager, you still have not built any business. You don't have a company building experience. You have a company running experience. Company running and company building are totally different experiences. Okay, and the important thing that I learned through 5 serial entrepreneurial experience is that nobody will help you. You would always think that somebody can help me because for them it's free. Why shouldn't they help you? Well, they don't. Okay, because it's proprietary stuff. Nobody teaches other people how to fish. No fisherman tells other fishermen where the fish is. The third point I want to make is that business plan competition is not real. A lot of people go through a business plan. They craft the best PPT they have. They hear some nice sounding advice from books or from YouTube videos. But the business plan does not have the reality in the world. In real world, let me just give you 2 examples. There are rich people who want to lose money just to compete with you, who want to defeat you by losing money. They have more money to lose than you have money to lose. And there are a lot of cheaters who are willing to sell their souls so that they can take your share. Don't think that those are impossible. Those are the majority of the people. So, I talked about the alternative to a startup. I talked about hypes about a startup. And let me explain to you the types of startup and their risks. Okay. When most people are talking about starting up a business have many different types. There are some business with 1 person, some business with 2 people, and some large corporations. Okay. When we talk about startups, we are all dreaming about these large corporations, the Elon Musks, the Michael Jordans, but they are rare. Most of the startups are sweatshop kind of work, solo, S-corps, sole proprietor. You do everything. And the problem with when you do everything is that your business will never grow because your time is all occupied, even after you start to earn some money. Business with 2 people is very common. Okay, but to be honest, having a second person on board who doesn't cheat on you is very difficult. Number 3, obviously, is a big LTDs, the COs. Those are large, sustainable, scalable, and safe business. Those are like the big boat that you see here. It's very rare. It's very rare. Do not go to a startup and thinking that you can build a business from solo to 2 people to this. If you build a solo, it will always be a solo. If you build a 2 people business, it will always be a 2 people business. This is very rare. So I'm very happy that you stuck through all this talk from me. Again, I'm not trying to discourage you from starting up. I'm not saying that it's a bad idea. I learned a lot. I'm extremely happy after all the serial entrepreneurship, after going through all the failures on earth. I was a professor and I quit my tenured professor job. I'm extremely happy, but I don't think people have done a good job putting up the warning sign. Okay, you have to be very cautious. Startup is ultimate learning, but you learn by failures. You don't learn by books. You don't learn by happily going to a school. Nobody teaches you. Nothing new will work. Risk-taking does not get rewarded. This is a real world where you want to make money. When you make money, you're stepping on other people's toes. Other people want to make money too. The last point of warning is that startup is a road of no return. Once you start up, you can't really go back to normal life. You can't really go back to employment. Okay? Ideally, take it before you're 25. What I mean is that if you're over 25, think about this carefully. Your chance of starting up is probably over unless you know what you're doing. And that's a big if. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this honest conversation. I'll see you later in other episode. Thank you.